Come on, Mrs. Peacock. Let's go find some hidden treasures.
I can't wait. Let's go. You guys want to go too?
Come on with us. We're going to go find some. Let's go.
Let's go. Mr. Peacock and friends. I wonder what Mr. Peacock will be doing today. Let's find out, but first I have to find him. Have you seen Mr. Peacock? Mr. Peacock! Mr. Peacock!
I'm here.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Peacock. We're all wondering what you're going to be doing today.
Today, I'm going to take you to show you a giant.
A giant? Wow, I've never seen a giant before. Have you guys seen a giant?
I bet they haven't. You've got to check this out, and you got to see where this is located. A very unique place.
Let's go see a giant.
Come on, Mrs. Peacock, let's do this. Come on, everybody, let's find that giant.
Let's go.
We are in Fort Dodge by the Fort Museum here, a replica of a town similar to that time of our history, and we're in this recreation of this town. And right here was another old replica of a house, and right next to us, Mrs. Peacock, we have a wonderful replica of a church, and boy, it looks like it's been here forever.
But cool, it's really nice. I like this.
I can imagine the congregation having lots of services in a church like this in the middle of the country during the time of the 1800s. I think we're going to check out and see the pulpit's right over here and the organ's over here, and it's so really cool. I love this. Not very tall. I'm 6 foot tall, and it wasn't very tall, but I bet it kept it nice and warm and cozy during the winter months.
Yes, I think it's nice. Let's go find some more. Is this a schoolhouse?
Yeah, this is the schoolhouse, and here it is.
Should be fun.
Wow.
Let's learn some reading, writing, and arithmetic.
The 3 R's, Mrs. Peacock.
Yep, the 3 R's.
This is really cool. Let's get some cabinets made, Mrs. Peacock.
Yeah, why don't we? Well, this is cool.
You know, in every town, they had to have people who were talented in the trades to do these sort of things so people can actually live.
This was very important. This was an important building.
Back in the old days, they had herbal treatments, not all this crazy medicine for today. And now is the drugstore.
Yes.
And this is a replica of what a drugstore used to be. And I bet they use a lot of the natural remedies that were in the countryside. Look at this place. Is this wonderful or what? The printing press came and evolved throughout the years, and we are at the Fort Dodge Sentinel recreation of a newspaper.
Shall we make some news?
Let's make some news. We're here. That's good. We're showing some hidden treasures of the past.
Absolutely.
Let's go make some news in the newspaper office.
Let's do it.
And man, you know, you got their computer, and this is how they set the type. And it was backwards because you see, when they set the type, it had to be backwards, and then it was printed the right way. And here's the printing presses. Each paper had to be individually done.
Yes.
Peacock, right. I'm going to put you in jail in this fort.
No, please don't put me in jail, please.
I don't think this is the place we want to come to, but this is the way it was back in the old days. Bye, Mrs. Peacock. See you later.
Oh, please don't throw away the key, please.
No, how will we do any more of Mr. Peacock and Friends Hidden Treasures?
See, you better let me out.
Let's go, Mrs. Peacock. Come on out.
Let me out.
Come on out. You're out of jail. I bet you don't know what a livery stable was. I didn't know until years ago, but this is where the horses were kept, right, Mrs. Peacock?
That's where my horse is kept, that's for sure.
After you had your wheels fixed at the blacksmith, you had to store your horses here. Got some oats and that sort of stuff. And
right.
look at all the wonderful carriages that they have here. This is absolutely wonderful, Mrs. Peacock.
I know, and over here are some buggies. There's the one for the winter, a sleigh. Wow, they've got a lot of buggies here.
This is amazing. Can you imagine riding in one of these buggies with a horse? And then in the snow, you can have one of these. They had it for all seasons, Mrs. Peacock.
I know, isn't that something? They had to get around, and all they had were horses and sleighs.
Well, let's go on some more hidden treasures here. Here we are at Fort Dodge.
Yes, that's right. Let's go inside the fort.
You know, this fort wasn't here for very long. About 2 years is what our history tells us.
Yep, that's right.
This is such a cool place. This was a safety zone back in the old days of the West. We are in Fort Dodge, Iowa, in front of the famous Fort Dodge, which the town was named after.
Yes, that's right. It's an entire fort, kind of like it was back in the days. And there is actually one original building from the original fort inside here. So it's really kind of interesting.
You should take your family here to show them how the past and how the West was won, because the replica of all the buildings on this place shows you what they had to do back in the days of the fort in order to live. We would go to a store, to a major box store. Here they had to go to the blacksmith or the livery stable to take care of their horses.
Yeah, that's right. You had to do what you had to do to survive in those days, and that's what they did with the forts, help protect them. And you know what?
What?
I think it's time to move on to some more hidden treasures.
I think we better. Come on with us.
Okay, let's go.
Well, Mrs. Peacock, we're in an original cabin. You gotta show me something?
Come here, Mr. Peacock, come here.
Oh no, what's going on?
We have General Armistead is in here.
Oh, let's check him out. Oh, look at him. Wow.
Yep, he was a brigadier general. Yep. And over here, I don't know who this is. One of the workers, I suppose.
Standing there and getting ready to sign some papers. And look at that is General Armistead.
Oh, so that's him too. Okay.
This is where he hung out in the fort.
This was his building.
Well, are you ready for this?
I'm afraid there's a giant in here.
A giant, and there's even a Bible passage.
Wow.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Wow, I'm afraid there is one.
Is there really? Is he scary?
Yeah.
Oh no, let's go. Oh my gosh, there he is. The jolly giant. Okay, here's that giant you were afraid of. Tell me something about him, Mrs. Peacock.
He's called the Cardiff Giant. And somebody in Cardiff, New York needed a new well. So he told well diggers where to dig. So they went there and they uncovered a huge foot. And as they dug on, the entire body began to emerge. And they put a tent up and they sold tickets to see the big giant because they thought it was a petrified giant from the old days. Actually, what happened, it was a hoax. It wasn't real. He was made out of wood. And this one, I think, is the third replica of the little giant, the Cardiff giant. And actually, the petrified man story began to unravel, and they took him to Barnum, Phineas T. Barnum, I think he's with the Barnum and Bailey Circus, offered $60,000 for a 3-month lease of the giant, but he was turned down. Very interesting.
It's funny that Barnum had something to do with that. Well, here he is. I think we better move on to find some more hidden treasures.
I think we should too. Let's go.
We've just been to Fort Dodge, Iowa at the Fort Dodge Museum.
Yes, and I got to see the giant there. Did you guys like the giant?
I bet they never expected to see a giant, did you?
No, but you know what? Here's a booklet from the fort about Carlisle King, so they had a little spot there for him too.
They sell these books there, and they were very kind to give us a copy, and boy, was it fun to remember the history of one of my favorite band writers of music of all times.
The museum was really fun. It was fun to see the fort, and there's even an original building, so you really should go see it.
This is a place that is good for a summer vacation. You should check it out all year round as well. No, not again.
Yeah, time's up. We've got to go.
Oh, but do we have to?
But we've got to go. Time's up.
Okay. If that's the case, then I'll say, see you all later.
That's right. Next time on Mr. Peacock and Friends, we'll see what's happening on the Peacock farm. Right, Mr. Peacock? Mr. Peacock is gone. He must be off on another adventure. So until next time on Mr. Peacock and Friends, I'll see you later. Mr. Peacock! Mr. Peacock! Mr. Peacock!
We finally got home.
Yes! We are home! We can't wait to show you what we saw today!
And I can't wait for our next trip. Let's go find out what we just did. Come on.
Okay.